I got stung by a giant wasp. Yo, 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 what's up everyone? Here we are. We're continuing the long Alp to Nice. And this is an epic full day of Ironman training, doing a 200-kilometer loop out here in Slovenia in Italy. And then we're gonna shoot for a 16-kilometer run off. And I've got big news because I've been doing the self-filming, but today I stole Tadej Pogacar's video guy. So he's behind the lens and we're gonna make the magic happen. So tune in all day to see what the training's about as I prepare for Ironman World Champs in Nice, offer my insights into how I'm preparing, what I'm doing on the bike, what my mindset is, how I'm balancing family, and all of the good fun stuff. Let's go. This is Luca. You can show them Luca. That's Luca. He's basically my training partner here. I would say he's got the strongest legs in Slovenia, but that's a pretty big title as well. What's really cool here is I feel like I almost have more friends and training partners than I do back home. Like, well, my one training partner back home blew his wad in St. George and he's been out of commission, but yeah, I just have a great community. I have people I swim with. The Italian swim team invited me to swim with them. I've got a guy like Luca who we ride every weekend, and basically every Saturday we do a big route and we try and get as much climbing as we can. And he more or less sends the route the day before, and we go and tackle it. But sometimes as the riding is out here, you're just out exploring and you see some beautiful little climb to go up and you add a detour, and the riding goes so fast. So now we got another 20-minute climb coming up, and usually what we do is, there's no specific workout on Saturdays, but we push all the climbs hard, trying to get at least 360 watts, if not closer to 400, and 10,000 feet of climbing usually, and it adds up by the end of the day.
Yeah. 4 languages here.
Oh, 4 languages. Yeah, what the hell? We all know that though. My sticker. I got stung by a giant wasp. Back home, people pay good money for this stuff. Lip injection. I just need a sting on the other side and I'll have perfect lips. But actually, it's extremely painful. I feel like it's gonna burst, and it's a little hard to talk without a lisp. So it's not always easy. Sometimes it's hard, sometimes it's painful. Italy, I love you. But can you give me some love? I mean, come on, give me some love. stopped at a coffee shop. There's coffee shop rides you want to stop at, and there's coffee shop stops you don't want to have. This was one we didn't want to have. We ran into a dead end in the road, not a dead end, but a barricade, so the car couldn't get through. We snuck through on our bikes, and then it started downpouring on the descent, and you know, we're 115 miles in, so, and now the rain's kind of stopped, so we had to stop here. Everyone stopped here, and it's kind of dying down now, but we've been here about 20 minutes. I think I'm just going to hop in the car, we get home, and then I'm hoping the weather's clear enough and we can still get our run in. So I'd say that's the plan. We've had some setbacks today, but still been a great day. Still got in. I think we've been going 6 hours already now, so it's still a big enough day, to be honest. It was bigger than we thought, because sometimes when you're navigating new roads, you take detours and all sorts of stuff. So happy with the training, and we just carry on. I already iced it some while I was waiting. I know, it's like, I was joking that it's my lip injection. Here we are, 3:02 p.m. I don't know exactly what time I stopped riding, maybe 2 o'clock. It's ended up taking about an hour between the rain, hopping in the car, coming back. And I started at 7. I left my house at 7 a.m., so we're going on however many hours that is. I had a route planned, but we had that massive manhole that leaked, so that was on the route, so I won't be able to run through there, so we're going to call an audible. And I'm going to say, you know, it's combining, I'm now being smarter. It's like combining the old self with the new self. Okay, there's the Sam Long full send, but there's doing the smart thing. My intention was to ride 5,500 kilojoules in just over 6 hours, and that's what the ride time was. And so, yes, I could have ridden all the way home and tried to do the epic thing and potentially risk crashing in the pouring rain on the roads with all the cars pulled over, but I made the smart decision. I made the right decision to set myself up for the best race in Nice. And I know, like, obviously it would have looked way more epic on Strava to have finished the whole route, to start and end at the house, but it's not about looking epic on Strava. It's about performing in Nice. And so checking the ego, putting the ego aside and doing the right thing. And now we're going to run. It's probably going to be pretty hilly. We'll see if there's detours, but I'm going to try and run at a pretty moderate, strong effort and get a good run in. So let's get it done, and then we'll touch base and talk more thoughts on Nice. We'll go over nutrition, how many calories I had on the ride, and just share our thoughts from there. All right, run done. About 4:07 p.m. I've already come up with the title. I think we're going to call it 9-hour Ironman training day. Preparation for Nice. We did, in metric system, since I'm here in Italy, we did just under 17K in an hour and 1 minute. So I think that's 340 per kilometer. And we'll let everyone compute that. It was 10.36 miles, 1 hour and 1 minute and 12 seconds, 5:54 pace. Felt quite good actually on the run, so happy to have the day done. Let's go in, let's check in with the family. Haven't really seen the family all day, and yeah, happy to have the day done.
I can't even believe it.
Which part?
When you sent me that picture, and I was like, we have to go to the hospital.
No, Dad, Mama. Mama.
Remember that though in Tucson, a year ago I got stung on my tongue, which was even worse.
Yeah.
Because then my whole tongue swelled up, and I couldn't talk, and I couldn't like eat food even almost, because it was like my tongue was like 3 times the size.
What happened?
No, Dad.
No, Dad.
Mama.
You want Mama to feed you?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, here we are. Let's recap the day. So Saturday, we're getting closer and closer to Nice. I've now been here in Italy for quite some time, and let's start with our carb count here. So I filled these bottles up before the ride, and so what I did is I'm experimenting with Nice with having a very high carb bottle. So I put 7 30-gram gels in this bottle, so that's 210 grams of carbs. And then in each of these, I had 150 grams, a mix of Blackline Power Bar sports drink, and then 2 other gels. So that's a total of 510 grams of carbs just in the bottles. And then on the bike, I took these gels here. So these ones are 25-gram gels. So that's another 100. So that's 610 plus another 30. So that's 640 grams of carbs. But what we're not doing there is our donut stop, our magic donut stop, right? And I thought everyone else was going to eat some of the donuts, but I ate almost all of those. And so I'm not sure how many that is. Maybe the sports nutritionist there can comment. Plus 2 Cokes. So that's probably another at least 60 grams, so 700. We can call it about 800 grams of carbs more or less. And then on the run, I just had 2 30-gram gels in those flasks that I was drinking. So carbs are king. That's the sports nutrition for the day. Overall, the day, why do I do a day like this? So I kind of believe that muscular endurance is separate within each sport. And so you have to train them specifically. And that's why I do like the ultra endurance rides and the very long runs, because I think now it's finding the sweet spot. I don't think you should go and ride 9 hours or maybe not even 8 hours. But if you're only ever riding 4 hours, you can target the metabolism, but you also want to target the muscular endurance. And each week I build the ride a bit. So I try to focus on kilojoules and I build the kilojoules up. And so today I got just a little over 5,500 kilojoules. And I'm building that up because last week I was just at 5,000 kilojoules. And so I could feel my legs at the end. And this is how I came up with the series. Because I feel my legs at the end, you would think, oh, maybe I start the run and then I don't feel very good on the run. But then I get on the run and it's a different muscle group. I've trained it differently and I feel great. It's the energy, there's the energy system and there's the muscles of each. And so today was about targeting the muscles, mostly on the bike, and then checking in with the overall energy system. And so then on the run, I did a nice hilly route. Of course, we had rain, so that made the shoes quite heavy. And I was able to run what would be a sub 235 Ironman marathon. Obviously, I would have still had another just under 16 miles to go. But for 1 hour, it felt quite easy and quite sustainable. So that was kind of the logic of the day. And it's fun. The days are epic because I think it's quite cool to explore different routes. And part of what I'm also trying to do for Nice is obviously and clearly is work on my descending, right? And so I'm not like Alex Honnold. I'm not going to memorize the whole wall. I mean, I'm going to get to Nice early. I'm going to try and do my best to memorize the descent, but it's going to be hard to learn every turn. And so my focus is on trying to become a globally better bike descender, because I believe if I can do that, then of course the turns are going to be easy. And so it's trying to connect the dots of what are the things you need to do. Okay, you need to be looking down the road. You need to be doing counter steering. You need to be balancing your bike right. You need to be getting the right braking points, and you need to know the difference in the types of turns. Like what turns can you carry speed in? What turns do you have to really brake? And you start to learn the roads. And what I like to do is do different descents that I've never done before. So I'm seeing them blind and I'm having to hit them for the first time and trying to carry them at a safe but fast speed. And then what I especially like about the long day on the bike is that as I get fatigued, it gets harder to descend because your brain stops thinking so clearly and you're tired. And so obviously we do the descent at Nice at the end of the bike. And so this is something I'm really, really focusing is on the descents and being tired and how to take the right line on a course I've never seen before. And I know this is going to pay off there at Nice. And now let's just talk, how am I doing overall here? Obviously, at first I had my culture shock. At first I felt things were tough here, but I'm going to tell you, I am in love with this area. I am so in love with what I'm doing here. And like I feel the happiest I've felt training in a long, long while, because it can be monotonous, it can be boring, it can be dull. Like there's so many hours on the bike. And back in Tucson, I do the same. There's not that many rides really to choose from, and Mount Lemon is by far the best ride. And I still love back home, or I like back home, I should say. But I do the same ride of the week every day, but all the rides are more or less the same. It's effectively riding the trainer, but out on the road. And I was kind of like bored of riding my bike. And now I'm here and it feels like I'm playing a video game. I'm happy riding my bike again. And I think there's training, but there's also being connected to nature. And here I actually feel very connected to nature. I feel connected to the elements. Like I'm out there and it's pouring rain, or you're up on top of beautiful mountains, or you're in the sea, and or you're going through vineyards, and there's just so much beautiful nature that I got to be a part of, and that it gives me energy. And not to mention the food. Like I think my recovery is so much better here. And why is my recovery so much better here? Well, I think it's a couple things, but I think it starts with the food. It's like there's just maybe less preservatives, or it's more fresh. Like honestly, I don't really know, but it's just like technically what I'm eating lots of carbs, I'm eating lots of pastries, I'm eating technically, the dulce vita, I'm eating all the good stuff, but yet my recovery is great. I'm not putting on any weight, and it feels so good to do this. And then I got to spend more time with my family. I'm taking my sweet Leo outside so much. We're going to the train station, and I like.
Dog woof.
No! 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 No!
Cheese. So Leo, choo choo from that way or that way? Choo choo. Choo choo. Oh, it's such a small one. Yeah, honestly, I feel the happiest I've felt in a long time, and I guess that's why I question, or I've been questioning, like, what's the purpose? Okay, I've got this dream of winning the Ironman World Champs. That's the dream, but like, I've also reflected, if it were to happen, of course, it will change some things in my life. Like it will change maybe financial aspects of my life, or the so-called legacy of my future, or things like that. It'll change things like that, but I think my day-to-day life, like I'll obviously be incredibly proud of myself, but then it wouldn't change. So what is the purpose of all of this? And the purpose of all of this, I've concluded, is in the day-to-day moment. It is the pursuit of it. It's the pursuit of getting as fast as I can, of loving the grind, of being out there on my bike, of loving to see how much I can push myself, and just the lifestyle of being a triathlete. And now that I'm really learning this, because again, also losing my bike, like biking was feeling like a chore. Then I lost my bike and I felt like, oh man, like I really missed my bike. And now, like, biking is a privilege, biking is a joy, it's like the spirit of who I am, and it gives me so much fresh air and breath of life, and I'm just so happy on the bike. And now that I know it's all about the process, that there really is no failure, because I'm so happy to commit myself to being the best I can, and that is why I do it, results or no results.